Hi there, this is Dana Arcuri, author, speaker, and wellness coach, and today's topic is why I fired my doctor and took my health into my own hands. And so my own journey to wellness began over 8 years ago, and it started out, for those who do not know me and they may not have read my books or know my story, that over 8 years ago I was diagnosed with a lot of different horrid disorders and conditions that were disabling. And so it began actually even further. I dealt with 20 plus years of this chronic low lumbar pain, sciatica shooting down my legs, a lot of inflammation in my shoulders and my back and my legs. And I was slowly deteriorating as far as my back condition. So what began as just some bulging discs then turned into 4 herniated discs, and it's called advanced degenerative disc disease, a very long word. There is inflammation involved and there's pain. And, I did the whole doctoring where you go to the orthopedic surgeon and you seek medical testing. And of course, there's MRIs and there's x-rays, and they give you prescriptions, and one thing leads to another, which then led me to the rheumatologist back in 2008, who diagnosed me with a fibromyalgia, and which 6 months later I went for a second opinion. I really believed that it could be something else. It didn't necessarily mean that it was fibromyalgia, and I needed to know for sure that this is what I was dealing with. And so I went to a specialist who was extremely thorough. Looking back now, I see he missed something extremely crucial, which was testing for celiac disease. But nevertheless, nutrition is a whole other topic, and the truth is our MDs don't go to school to learn holistic nutrition, nor do they go to school to learn natural medicine and natural alternatives that might be a whole lot more gentle and safer for our bodies and minds. So I had gone to this rheumatologist who was the second doctor who did all this testing. I had over 33 tubes of blood. Yes, 33 tubes of blood, in which they said, we're ruling out all these other disorders. We're ruling out, and there was this long list like lupus, rheumatoid arthritis, Lyme's disease, and on and on and on and on, in which he confirmed, this is primary fibromyalgia. And so he said, let's get you started on a fibromyalgia program. And you go for 6 weeks, and you have a neurologist who's in charge of your health, and let's try to get you up and running so you are reducing your pain and feeling better. So I thought, hey, this is the right thing to do. And back then I did believe in Western medicine. So I went off to this 6-week program, and it was like 5 days a week, and you go all day, and you meet with an occupational therapist, a physical therapist, you meet with a psychologist, you meet with a neurologist. There's a group of women who were diagnosed just like me, and so we were kind of together on our journey together, a group of us. So I made some friends. It was really cool. So at least I did make some friends. But what happened was my doctor, the neurologist, kept increasing my dosage of Cymbalta. And Cymbalta is a medication that is for many different various conditions, but the one that it's well known for is fibromyalgia. And so I was prescribed that dose, and it began small, and then the dose just kept getting higher and higher and higher, and I was feeling awful, and I had all these negative symptoms, and I didn't feel good. I felt like within 4 months that I definitely had more depression, more anxiety. I had more challenges just getting up in the morning and trying to get on with life. And I started not really wanting to get on with life. I felt like that happy-go-lucky person who I used to be, that positive person, that woman of faith who I used to be, just kind of fell behind the shadows, and this dark cloud was looming over my head, and I really was discouraged. And, one drug was led to another drug, before you know it, I was on so many drugs. I was on Adderall for the ADHD, Prozac for the depression, Cipro for bladder infections. Then I was having all these kidney stone attacks, and they did one test after another test. And I mean, there were so much like invasive procedures and testing and mini surgeries and checking my thyroid. So I had all these things going on, like horrific things like nodules on my thyroid, enlarged thyroid, all these symptoms of hypothyroidism, all these problems with my kidneys. I started thinking it was my parathyroid that was going on, with the thyroid, thinking, maybe it's not just the thyroid, but it's the parathyroid that sits above it. And I did a lot of research for years. And so I was like in this medical, what is it, like a medical maze, and you feel like you're just like in a daze, because you're hitting like dead end after dead end after dead end, and you're going to all these specialists, and one specialist turns into another one, which turns into another one. And I was seeing the endocrinologist, the urologist, the gynecologist. There was a whole other thing, other female things, hormones, going through really horrific, terrible times at a period that lasted 19 days. Yeah, something just wasn't quite right. My back was still killing me. My fibromyalgia, was really getting worse. And, these drugs just add up. And so I reached a point where, I became suicidal. I started reading the side effects in the black box warning of Ativan and Cymbalta and Cipro and Prozac, the drugs. I mean, there was just so many drugs. Like, why do doctors have to put you on that many prescriptions? And how come all the specialists don't stay in sync with what they're doing with their patients? So they have a patient, and their patient's getting care by all these different physicians for, a wide variety of medical ailments and disorders. Well, how come these physicians aren't on the same page? Like, what's going on with that? So, I mean, right there's a definite issue going on in Western medicine where people, number one, are on way too many medications. People are having all these invasive procedures and surgeries, going under the knife, and they're just in a medical maze where their lives are spiraling out of control. They're wondering why they're suicidal, why they have so much anxiety, why they have hostility, aggression, and this disability where their body is killing them. Their muscles ache all over, and all you do is go from doctor to doctor to doctor, and you never get answers. And just when you think that someone's finally going to help you, right then, boy, they slam that door in your face, and they just, I don't know. They don't know what's wrong with you. Geez, maybe it's all in your head. Geez, maybe it's all in your head. And so has anyone said that to you? Well, geez, maybe you're a hypochondriac. Maybe you really don't have anything wrong with you. Maybe it's just your head that's messed up. And so, I was stuck in the medical maze, and I had reached that horrid moment of wanting to just not go another day living like this, because when I really took a good look at the whole picture, I wasn't really living. I was drowning in a sea of despair. It was no way to live. And so what happened was I slowly tapered the drugs, and it was, the biggest hellish ordeal of my life, the biggest nightmare of my life. You could watch the other videos on them. It goes into the detail. Or read my book, Harvest of Hope, Living Victoriously Through Adversity, which is the memoir that goes into also the nightmare from hell. And it explains how I was able to climb out of that dark pit and get my life back together, and that I fired my MD. And I said, you know what? There is another way. There is another way. And the way is sometimes leaving the maze, saying goodbye to Western medicine, goodbye to drugs, goodbye to synthetic chemicals that are toxic and that take our mind and body hostage. And so really the end result is that I took a better look at my nutrition and I cleaned it up. I said, hey, you know what? Our nutrition can make or break our health and our emotional well-being. So I cleaned that up. And I've been drug-free, basically cleaned up, no medicine, no prescriptions, no doctors, no procedures, no testing, hallelujah. And I am at a much better place. You know, it's been a long, long road, and the climb up that steep mountain wasn't easy, but I'm telling you what, you know, if you keep doing that, if you keep doing this whole doctor to doctor to doctor, and one drug after another drug, and you're sick and tired of it, start coming up with a new plan. Start really looking outside the box. There is another way. And I'll go into other videos explaining it into detail, but I just want to end with this. Nobody knows you better than you, and nobody could ever heal better than you. And doctors are not God. They are not someone who can cure you. They will never use the word cure. If you notice that, they will never, ever say cure. And so the trick is to really take a good look at yourself, your life, what medications you're on, the foods you're eating, and make a decision. What can you change today, even if it's one simple change? And it's a slow journey. It takes time and patience and perseverance, but I'm thankful today that I made this change and I kicked my doctor to the curb. I said goodbye to medications, reclaimed my vitality and life, and it has made a significant difference, and I am thankful and grateful for that. Check out the rest of the videos. I'll have more on this topic. Have a great day. Check out DanaArcuri.com. Thank you. Bye-bye.